Touchdown.
I'm just wondering if your listeners know how good a football player you were. I can still see you playing that fullback, knocking those players out of the way. And that, I believe I could have run behind you.
Martin, I can remember when we came to summer and you were playing fullback up there, and I saw you in the weight room and watched you work out in the weight room. If you could pick up, you were strong enough to pick up the whole weight room. I wanted to fix it, and our running back coach didn't take the pass. biggest mistake we ever made.
The Martin Houston Show with national championship winning fullback Martin Houston, giving you 1 hour of intense, hard-hitting analysis from an insider's perspective. It's time for the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports, Tide 100.9, and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Good morning. Welcome into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier on this Wednesday edition. Today, the playbook is the third Saturday in October. Grades for the 2024 team. Fondest memory of a win over Tennessee. I hate Tennessee because, remember, we are brought to you by Fox Eye Care. And remember, it's Wednesday, so we have the Harvest Church Christian Moment of the Week and more.
All right. Good morning. It's the Hump Day edition. We can throw out a wild card Wednesday, but as Xavier said, we have several topics that I thought might get you guys going this morning, especially C.J. Watson, a former member of the $1 Million Band. So he loves to put up a thing that says things I hate more than Tennessee, I think is what he does. Or is it, I hate Tennessee more than this. I can't remember which way he does it, but he was the inspiration behind the I hate Tennessee because fill in the blank. I mean, call us up, type it in on social media, and we'll add it to the conversation. I hate Tennessee because. Then what's your fondest memory, of a Tennessee win? I was on the 1990 team where a blocked field goal led to a made field goal. 2009, I'd like to dig into that a little bit more probably, because what if Mount Cody doesn't block that kick? How different are things? Because we went on to win our first national championship that year. Does Kiffin stay at Tennessee? Does, so many things that could have come from that particular game. We really didn't even do good, bad, and ugly from us at X. I think we've talked about it off and on. But another thing is I've been dealing with a lot of people on social media, and they're dogging him and talking about he doesn't have this, what this team should be, and how much more talent he had than Saban. And I made the analysis that maybe we should be comparing him to Perkins because he's replacing the GOAT. But if you want to compare him to Saban, um, what record should this team end up with? Based on the talent he has, halfway through the season, Eggs, we're looking at a grade. This team is 5-1. So if he just repeats that in the second half of the season, was that a successful season? Everybody's, we'll talk more about that. I really, really, it's funny how Bama fans forget just how bad Alabama was last year. They remember how we ended the season, but they forget how bad we were early in the season, I think. How bad we looked throughout the season, how many penalties we got throughout the season, and how the very same loss at the end of the season looked exactly like the first loss of the season. And people go, well, it was to Texas. I mean, it was to Vanderbilt. Listen, there's a guy over in Georgia who lost his first year to Vanderbilt. Oh, he's still there. Isn't he, Xavier?
Huh? He's won a national championships too.
Oh, and he took over a 10-win team as well that had a lot of talent.
Yep.
So, that we'll have that conversation. But remember that this is the day that the Lord has made. So let's rejoice and be glad in it. Take some time to notice someone, love someone, serve someone, be the difference you want to see in the world today. But the phone lines are open, and they are open in honor of I Hate Tennessee.
I hate Tennessee because, first of all, it's Tennessee. And I just hate them because they low down, they dirty, they some snitches. And I hate Philip Fulmer. I hate their colors. I'm not a dog person. I just hate Tennessee, man. Like, and I hate Neyland Stadium. It looks like a garbage truck worker convention. And I hate all their quarterbacks. I hate Tennessee, man.
Describe what you feel about their colors too. I thought that was interesting.
It reminds me, and it's not that orange that you can stand. See, I hate Tennessee more than I hate Auburn. I just dislike Auburn. I hate Tennessee. See, Tennessee's colors is that throw up orange. It's not that orange that you can sit with. It's that puke inside of a pumpkin orange. And I don't like pumpkins. So I really don't like Tennessee, man. I can't stress that enough, man. And they losers, they sore losers, and I
hate Tennessee. Phone lines are open for you to call up and tell us why you hate Tennessee, or you can post it on the live stream. Thanks.
Yeah. So the third week in October, man, what a rivalry that it is. And I know a lot of people go, for you new Alabama fans, oh, Saban only lost to Tennessee one time. And while that is true, that was or did he lose in 2007? I can't remember. But we had a crazy long win streak, 15, 16 games in a row. I remember when I first
he only lost to him one time, right?
Okay,
so we had a 15-game win streak. We lost one. That was his year 16, and then we won last year.
Okay, a lot of people, for you old Alabama fans, the ones that have been here, that are pre-Saban, pre-Saban era. Remember, this was a rivalry that went back and forth on streaks for a long time. This is one of the streakiest rivalries Alabama has ever had. Maybe the streakiest rivalry. But I remember as a kid, watching Tennessee beat Alabama all the time. I mean, yeah, Tennessee beat Alabama all the time. And I was like, man, what are we going to do?
Mm.
You were part of what, a 7-game win streak against
And
Tennessee?
and a 10-game no-lose streak, one tie.
And one
So they
tie.
didn't beat us.
That is,
They didn't beat us for 10 years. And they won a couple games before that, and it was Alabama had a 10-game win streak or 8-game win streak. It's always been streaky. It's only been back and forth a couple of times in the last 40, 50 years.
and so I won't. Oh, it is crazy that how this rivalry has been discounted because of the dominance of Saban. But man, this is a fun rivalry. I love it. This is also the week that I had my first younger sibling born, Precious, whose birthday is tomorrow. She was born the third Saturday of October. That ended in the tie that weekend after you graduated. So a lot of great things about this one. But what is you said the 1990 win was your favorite. What was your favorite just as a fan?
Yeah. Let's get to J Rob. Get a phone call to J Rob before I get into mine. If that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine. We've got J Rob joining us on the Empowerment and Strategy Solution Hotline. How you doing this morning, J Rob?
I'm good. Good morning, guys. Y'all doing well?
Doing well.
Yes, sir.
Good, man. I can't hardly put it any better than that young man did on the video, and it's a timeless classic. I love it. Love it.
Yeah. Never gets old.
But it never gets old, and it always gets rekindled this time of the year. But I have a lot of reasons that I hate Tennessee. Coach Bryant did not like Tennessee at all. He hated them. That was one of his favorite games to win. Mainly because of the things that Pat Phil Farmer did. Tried to get Alabama, tried to put our program down, tried to put us out of commission. He did whatever he could. It's a real tricky series. And this time of the year, but 1990 also is my favorite win. That was Coach Stalin's first year. I brought my son home from the hospital. On that day, I was pacing the floor trying to get him ready to go. And the nurses were jacking around. You know how they do. And I wanted to get home. I knew we were a big underdog, but still, I wanted to get home to watch that game. And we ended up pulling it out. And that was a tremendous upset. We were like a 17-point underdog, and we pulled it out. I think that was up in Knoxville too, wasn't it, Martin?
Yeah, it was. It was up in Knoxville, and we were 2-3, and they were number 2 in the country, and had a bunch of
all those games,
first and second round. Yeah. They and what people forget, it is the stuff that was being said about Alabama at that time. Alabama was a high school team going against.
Oh yeah.
Lee Corso said Alabama is like a high school team playing against a pro team, and all of that stuff. So yeah.
Oh yeah. Lee Corso running his mouth.
And Bino Cool.
People forget how we should have won those first 3 games that we lost. They were all close. They weren't like we got blew out those first 3 games. And Coach Stalin says, "Man, I thought I was going to get run out before I got a first win." Remember? He thought he thought that he was going to get fired before he even got started good. But anyway, I love this. This is my favorite game. It's my favorite time of the year, and I hope we go to Knoxville and take care of business. I just hope Josh Heupel don't have anything cooked up for our defense, and hopefully I can come around this week. But people just need to calm down. This is the first year in this system for our defense. People don't remember them. Probably about half of those players never played college football before. and none of them played in this system that we're playing this year. So I know they're making some mistakes, but that's young players, and that's just the way it's going to be. We knew that we was going to have to live because we was going to have to live through this defense this year, and our offense was going to have to carry us. So, with that said, I'm going to give you a score. I'm going to get off and let some other guys tell you why they hate Tennessee too, because I love to hear that. I think Alabama's going to win. We're going to pull out the. I say it's an upset, but we are the favorite by a couple of points. But I say Alabama's going to win 38-17. Y'all have a great day and roll Tide. Oh, what's the tiebreaker? I forgot.
Yeah, total offensive yards.
Oh, total offensive yards, 370.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Have a great day. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. Hey, we'll be back on the Roll Tide. We'll be back on the other side to get your I hate Tennessee because or what's your favorite Tennessee moment? J-Rob had a couple good ones. We'll share our. This is going to be a topic for the next couple of days. So if you don't get in, you'll have opportunity to get in later on in the week. We'll keep the conversation rolling right here on your home for Alabama sports. This is the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier, powered by Box Eye Care.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. A very happy hump day to you. We're getting off to a nice and pretty quiet start. We do have some bridge work on Merlene Wallace, northbound between University Boulevard and 5th Street. That is active road construction, and it's blocking the right lane. Now, so far, you're not dealing with any severe delays. And McFarland, I'm seeing where that's starting to get a little volume here on the westbound lane at Indian Hills Drive. With your Tuscaloosa traffic now, I'm Tammy Thomas.
This report is sponsored by Compassion International.
It's the year-end clearance sale at Townsend Nissan going on now. You can save thousands. See BJ or Kylan today at Townsend Nissan, your savings place.
Every day, a child in poverty waits for a sponsor is another day of hopelessness. There are thousands of kids who've been waiting over a year. End their wait. Sponsor a child with compassion today. Just text the word radio to 83393.
Touchdown! Complete coverage of all Friday night high school football scores on Tide 100.9.
Midfield, 40, 30, 20, 10, touchdown!
Brought to you by 4th District Congressman Robert Adderholt, Bevel State Community College, 1225 Sports Bar located on the Strip, and Taco Casa.
Dixie Battery Supply takes care of all of your battery needs. Find the commercial batteries you're after and never feel powerless again. Come check out our Northport and Tuscaloosa locations or call us at 205-758-9190. And once again, power up all your devices by using Dixie Battery Supply, DixieBatterySupply.com. They offer reconditioned batteries starting at $39.99, and you'll find all the batteries you need. And don't forget to ask us about our golf carts. That's Dixie Battery Supply. I'm so excited to have recently launched the Empowerment Strategies and Solutions Organization. We speak, we train, we coach. As a John Maxwell certified coach and team member, I would love the opportunity to work with you and your organization to build corporate culture, build a championship team, or coach you one-on-one as a C-suite or emerging leader. As a DIS certified consultant, I can help you be the best version of yourself. To work with me, go to martinhouston.org/book me. That's martinhouston.org/book me. That's Empowerment Strategies and Solutions. We speak, we train, we coach. Don't forget to mark your calendar for December 3rd for the Live to Lead conference featuring John Maxwell, John Gordon, Malcolm Gladwell, and more. Join us at the Bryant Conference Center. It's a half-day simulcast event presented by Empowerment Strategies and Solutions. Purchase individual tickets for $70 and a table of 8 for $400. Visit martinhouston.org and click the Live to Lead tab and follow the instructions. Once again, to register, visit martinhouston.org, Live to Lead tab, and click register. Hey, I'm Martin Houston, and I want to tell you about exciting news happening at Box Eye Care. They've moved to their new location, bringing you a brand new lab, stylish new frames, and a fresh look just for you. Enjoy their expanded frame inventory, competitive prices, and faster service, all with the same great level of service you've come to know and trust. Discover this full-service eye care at Box Eye Care's new location. With their in-house lab, they offer unbeatable value and one of the largest frame collections in town. Schedule your eye exam today and walk out with new glasses in less than an hour in most cases. Visit boxeyecare.com. That's boxeyecare.com or call 205-342-0660. That's 205-342-0660. Visit them at 5003 Oscar Baxter Drive. That's Box Eye Care. Your vision, our priority.
It's time for the Martin Houston Show. With the same hard-hitting, no-nonsense approach in which he played the game, Martin will take you inside the locker room, down on the field, and across the goal line with his in-depth analysis.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier, powered by Box Eye Care. Hey, don't forget to support your favorite athlete. Number 35, get your officially licensed gear at athletesthread.com/collections/Martin-Houston. You can get your legacy cap. Also, you can get great a pair of other items, hoodies, T-shirts, etc. It's starting to get a little chilly, so about time for you to start getting those hoodies. And also coming soon, we're going to have our Bama Claws apparel and offering as well. So I'll let you know when that's ready. So let's roll some more. Roll Tide, everybody. It's Tennessee Week, the third Saturday in October.
Welcome back in. And as we kick off this second quarter, we're talking about I hate Tennessee because, and what is your favorite win in this Alabama series? Favorite moment? So you get ready to tell us what your favorite was as a fan?
Oh, man. Favorite moment as a fan? Probably the most memorable, I don't know if it's necessarily favorite, was probably the Mount Cody block. And the reason I say that most memorable because of what went on to happen that year. Alabama's first national title, Saban's first and only undefeated season. First and only. I'm shouting it from the rooftop.
2020.
I'm not finished. First and only undefeated season that wasn't a COVID-impacted regular season. Saban just out-COVID everybody. We had a tremendous team. Plus, we had the best organizer in the game. But you put an asterisk beside that undefeated season. Every other regular season, except for 2009, with Mike Shula's seniors, I'm sorry. That's the only time. And so I mean, I'm pointing that out, X, because we act like we've lost 10 games. I know Vanderbilt's a tough loss, but we've only lost one. And it only counts as one. I mean, I know it's bad and it's embarrassing and humiliating and all of that stuff. But I remember several embarrassing, humiliating losses for Nick Saban that led his season. If you go back and ask the players, they would tell you that the Ole Miss losses early in the season actually made them better. You ask the La Monroe players, they said it actually made them buy into the coach's staff even more, not less. And so I think you can see the same thing. But anyway, back to my favorite moment. Mount Cody blocking that was probably one of my favorite moments. But going back and thinking about a couple times when I saw Jalen Hurts break loose a couple times on a couple runs was a pretty big deal. And, of course, I think the tie game when David Palmer just took over was a pretty neat game as well. And then, of course, I could be selfish and self-serving and say the 1990 game when we blocked it and went on to kick a field goal after blocking a field goal craziest thing, one of the craziest things I've ever seen. So
Yeah. So for me, it has to be. I remember being 10 years old in 2001, and it's the first Tennessee game that I fully remember. And me, you, and Precious, we went to the game, and we watched a sophomore tight end that wore number 1 catch 17 passes as Casey Carlson led Tennessee to a win over Alabama. And that tight end, for those who don't know, is one of the greatest tight ends to ever play in the NFL, and that's Jason Witt. And he was a no-name going into that game. But the next year, Alabama gets a win in Tennessee. That was the first win that I remember. But the next year, there's the 3-4 overtime game that Tennessee wins. They beat us in Knoxville. And then my freshman year in high school, Alabama's playing Tennessee. It's the 10-2 season. Tyrone Prothro had just broken his leg like the week before, and our offense was struggling. It was bad, and we couldn't figure it out. And we line up, kick a field goal, make it 6-3, and Tennessee. No, it was still 3-3. Tennessee is driving down the field. Our defense can't stop them. And Corey Anderson, their 270-pound fullback, catches a little pass out in the flat, and he's roaming towards the end zone. And Roman Harper comes and puts his helmet right on the ball. The ball pops out. It goes out the back of the end zone. Alabama drives down, kicks a field goal, and Alabama wins 6-3. That's probably my favorite, just as a kid watching it growing up, because I was like, this is what makes this rivalry so great. And then, of course, the 15 wins in a row, you can take your pick of those, which would be my favorite. Probably the Mount Cody block was great. And everybody talked the V block. There were 2 blocks he had in that game. If he doesn't block either one of those, what happens? Talking about the chain reaction. Do we end up with Lane Kiffin? How does that affect our offense over those years? And where does that put the change in the Alabama offense that followed that? So there's all of those.
I mean, you're talking about, do we get Lane Kiffin? Does Tennessee go on to dominate? Is a better question. Is a more likely scenario. May not even does Saban go on to dominate? I mean, so much rode on that one game to that one season.
Yeah,
there's a lot of things, but we need to get to Pat before we get to break. Pat, you're in on the Empowerment Strategies and Solutions Hotline.
Hey, you just made me forgive Roman Harper for that fiasco in Arkansas when I drove over there. I forgot about Roman Harper being the hero in that Tennessee game. Hey, but my favorite memory of Tennessee has to be Bobby Humphrey just scorching Tennessee. They had no answer for Bobby Humphrey. He had almost 220 yards in that ball game. That he was I think it made him a 2-time All-American. I think it was his senior year. And my question is for y'all, and I'm giving you another bold prediction. Is it possible that Ryan Williams could be our first 3-time All-American?
I mean, it's definitely possible. I don't put anything past that young man. I mean, he has the talent to be, Pat.
100%.
Without a doubt.
Hey, but not to take.
I don't know if that's that bold.
Hey,
I don't know if that's that bold, Pat.
You were?
I said, I don't know if that's that bold on predicting Ryan Williams to be a 3-time All-American. It would have been bold at the beginning of the season, but right now I don't know if it is or not, Pat.
Hey, look, man, hey, but like I said, Bobby Humphrey was very special that day. And
yes, he was.
Man, Pat, Yes,
let me ask you a question. A lot of people upset and calling for DeBoer, and because Alabama's looked bad several times, two games in a row, and like I said, I put the Georgia game on a different pedestal because of what happened in that game, the high and the low. But the last two, we've been outplayed, won one, lost one. What record? Since everybody likes to caveat DeBoer inherited all of this talent. What record at Alabama this year is equivalent of 7-6 for DeBoer?
I don't think. I don't see where it's not. DeBoer is not the issue. It's what DeBoer picked for his special teams coordinator.
Okay, DeBoer. Let's say Womack and Nunez is Applewhite. That's Saban's first hire was Applewhite. Everybody forgets that.
Yeah, and hey, Major's doing a good job down at South.
My point, Pat,
another directional school coach.
I'm gonna have to get. I'm gonna have to get out of here, Pat.
Look.
What's the
I gotta
record?
hand it to Major's mom and daddy. They named him after a great Alabama running back.
Let's get the break. Thanks, Pat. We appreciate you, Pat. We'll be back on the other side. Thanks for listening to the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. A very happy hump day to you. We're getting off to a nice and pretty quiet start. We do have some bridge work on Merlene Wallace, northbound between University Boulevard and 5th Street. That is active road construction, and it's blocking the right lane. Now, so far, you're not dealing with any severe delays. And McFarland, I'm seeing where that's starting to get a little volume here on the westbound lane at Indian Hills Drive. With your Tuscaloosa traffic now, I'm Tammy Thomas.
Let's be honest, we're all feeling it. Grocery bills are soaring, gas prices keep climbing, and our voices ignored. Our communities deserve better. By voting Republican, we can tackle inflation, lower gas prices, and invest in real opportunities for our families. It's time to make a real change in our schools, on our streets, and in our wallets. Let's take control of our future. Vote Republican. Paid for by the Tuscaloosa County Republican Party, P.O. Box 2643, Tuscaloosa, Alabama 35403.
Houston Hydrosteam. That's Houston Hydrosteam. Quality work you can stand on. Whether you're looking for carpet and upholstery cleaning, oriental rug cleaning, residential or commercial water damage, and a whole lot more, you need to call Houston Hydrosteam at 205-553-9460, 553-9460, or visit them online at HoustonHydrosteam.com. And once again, Houston Hydrosteam is quality work you can stand on.
CED and All Phase Electric Supply is one of the largest electrical distributors in the country. They supply and service those that power your homes, streets, schools, office buildings, and arenas. From the lighting, circuit breakers, to home automation, they are here to make sure those constructing and maintaining your spaces can get their jobs done. They set themselves apart with customer storage solutions, project and warehouse management, arc flash studies, and more. Visit CED in Tuscaloosa, Coleman, and Decatur, and All Phase Electric Supply in Albertville and Huntsville.
Hey, DC here from 95.3 The Bear and Tide 100.9. Are you ready for some football? I know I am. Join me Saturday for Tuscaloosa's only live pregame show, presented in part by Tuscaloosa Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram, Pearl River Resort Casino, Grandstand, BMW of Tuscaloosa, R&R Cigars, and North River Outdoors. It's the Tide Tailgate Show on 95.3 The Bear and Tide 100.9 WTBC 1230. Roll Tide.
Got timberland in West Alabama or East Mississippi? North River Timber Company has you covered. Since 2011, Courtney White, a registered forester, along with his expert team, have been managing timberland and harvesting timber across 4 West Alabama counties. They offer comprehensive timber management plans, reforestation services, and appraisals. Courtney White says timber is like money in the bank. Don't let your investment go unrealized. Call North River Timber Company today. Email them at northrivertimberco@gmail.com or call 205-242-5127.
The sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team. The Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier. As we kick off the second half, we've been talking about memories from Alabama versus Tennessee, the third Saturday in October, and what your favorite game was. And we've got some interesting ones here when you look through it. You had Jed Cohen, who talked about the 2002 game. That was his first game in person when Bama broke the 7-game Tennessee win streak, which made it better is that it was in Knoxville. You have Bam Bam talking about that 86 game, 56-28, where Bobby Humphrey went wild, that Pat referred to, as well as the first game in 1990 up under Coach Stallings when nobody gave Bama much of a chance. And, of course, Saban's first year, a 48-17 win. That game set the tone that things were going to change in Tuscaloosa. So a lot of big games, of course, throughout the history of this rivalry.
Yeah, and David Kane saying favorite Bama win. Well, he actually went off. It's not the Tennessee, but his favorite Bama win. They talking about the 2nd and 26. Also, Bam Bam 72 saying the yes to 2009 game ranks right up there as well. Jed Cohen, he's referring to a Tennessee game where the onside kick to start the game. So yeah, if you have a thought, a favorite team on, the excuse me, regarding Tennessee, let us know. We also had a I hate Tennessee because. Jed Cohen said, I hate Tennessee because I hate Phil Fulmer. For those who aren't Bama fans long enough to know, they don't understand that video, when it says I hate Tennessee because there's some snitches. Well, that's fact. Phil Fulmer had tried to bury Bama, and Bam Bam sharing that. Bam Bam 72 saying Phil Fulmer tried to bury Bama. Little did he know, just a few years later, Bama would make one of the greatest runs in college football history. And of course, we know, that's kind of one of those funny things. X in the church, we say what the devil meant for evil, God turns to good. Well, Phil Fulmer, thanks to him trying to get Alabama in trouble, it eventually led to the chaos that eventually led to Nick Saban. And then, of course, Jed Cohen saying, I hate hearing Rocky Top. I hate all shades of orange. MHS 0407 saying, puke orange. That throw up orange. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. So lots of hate for Tennessee out there, X. But, also, let me see. We have some other comments. Let me see. Tim Coggins talking, because I had asked Pat, and Pat never answered the question. So we just went to break. He went off on Applewhite. I think people forget. We sometimes have revisionist history. Now, we dog our school systems for teaching revisionist history, but us Bama fans, we're bad about it. We first of all say that that Nick Saban inherited just such a horrible program, and it was 6-7, but it was only one season removed from a 10-win season. And there was a lot of chaos that happened in that 6-7 season under Shula. Everybody forgets how they were calling for Stallings after the first 3 games. And had we not won that Tennessee game, it's amazing. I did an interview with Kennington. He's writing a story about Bear, Saban, and he's writing a story about Tennessee, Alabama game and Alabama's first-year coach. In this rivalry, the coaches are 8-8, 8-1, I think. in their first game. But the last three guys for Alabama, I think, to win their first game against Tennessee, all went on to win national titles. But everybody forgets, at 2-3, they were ready to fire Coach Stallings. And that one game changed everybody's opinion. And we barely won it. And it was 9. And then we went to lost to Penn State at homecoming. Everybody was ready to fire him again. And then everybody forgets we got humiliated that season by Louisville. And what everybody forgets is Stallings took over an SEC championship team with most of the players coming back. There is transition when you change coaches. And there's losses when you train, and sometimes there are unexpected losses. And everybody has said, well, he's inherited the most talented roster. He did. But that roster was a bunch of young guys who have not played. So what do you get when you take young guys' X and talent and inexperience? You get high highs and low lows. All right? So what have we seen this season? Nobody's calling. Why did Saban retire? Was it because he had a championship team?
No, it's because of NIL and the transfer portal. You just
what about NIL and transfer portal?
The way the players were essentially abusing it. I mean, we talk about.
But I guess what I'm saying though, X, if Saban could have kept winning and could have handled it, do you think Saban's retired?
No.
So if Saban thought he had an SEC championship, national championship team that he could coach this year, if Saban thought that this was a national championship team that he could have coached to a national championship team, Saban would not be retired. Not only,
and that's before that's before the transfers of Caleb Downs and an Isaiah Bond and guys that were huge parts of the reason why Alabama was successful last year.
How different do we look at this team if we get the backups that transferred? Like the guys, there was a group of guys that Saban that were backups that probably would have been ready to play this year. They all left. All of those guys left.
Somebody posted it on Twitter after the South Carolina game. We talk about Bond and Black and Downs and what they could have been, but there were 8 DBs, 8 that transferred, and that was Trey Amos, who'd be a 5th-year senior, Kite, who'd be a redshirt sophomore, Des Ricks, who'd be a redshirt freshman, Jake Pope would be a junior. So you're talking about guys when you look at Pope and Amos. Now I don't know if both of those. Amos would be a starter. Pope would be a rotational player this year. Downs, of course, we know what he was. I mean, so now you got we got the money to transfer in, and we got some experience with Devontae Smith and Sapp. But some of these guys, there wouldn't be a need for Xavier Brown. There wouldn't be a need for Jalen Mbakwe and guys like that to be not just impact players, but starters.
Right. And the other piece of that, X, is they're young and inexperienced, so you get high highs and low lows. I want somebody to call up and tell me what record in this. Okay, I'm going to give you all you who are dogging DeBoer and this staff, and they do need to do better. I agree with everybody on that. But they also are coaching in a different time with younger players who are talented, but they also have NIL transfer portal in a different world. And so to me, I go, what's a record, Chase, right? What record, if DeBoer ends the season at 10-2, is 10-2 being a new coach who had his roster fleeced after he got the job in a new world of SEC NIL. Everybody talks about Will Saban had less talent than DeBoer. And the reverse of that is every other team that DeBoer is playing this year has more talent than what Saban was playing. All of the teams that we're playing this year are more talented than most of the teams that Saban lost to. All right. So
if you look at it, they did a list where they compiled the rankings of the team. This is the most dominant the SEC conference has ever been. It's the FPI, which I got to figure out what that stands for. The top
Football Power Index, I think.
Football Power Index. 15 of the 16 teams are in the top 35. And get the one who isn't is a team that just put up 31 on Georgia.
Mississippi State. And they may be tough to deal with their new quarterback. So who knows? CJ Watson, you're in with Martin and Xavier. What's on your mind, man?
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Y'all know how I feel about Tennessee.
Well, you know that you may have missed it, CJ. Our topic today and over the next couple of days is in honor of you. That I hate Tennessee.
Oh, that's wonderful.
it's all. I mean, I started the show off. I didn't think you were on yet, and I said CJ probably not listening, but this is all in honor of CJ Watson.
That's hilarious, and I appreciate that. Well, I'll try my best not to take up too much time, but I certainly have got to share my favorite Alabama versus Tennessee moment, and I think a few people have said it this way, but 2002 has got to be mine because I was still a student, and Martin, you know, I marched in the $1 Million Band at the time, and we were 7 losses into a streak of Tennessee wins, and gosh, it was a long time coming for me at the time, and probably we sort of settled in with about 5 minutes left in the game that there was no way they were going to come back, and to see all the fans leaving Neyland Stadium and us getting to hang around, and at the time we had a tradition of the band would learn another team's sort of victory song, not Rocky Top, but Tennessee would do this thing, Tennessee Waltz. That was what they would play after they would win. We practiced that every year of my career, and I had waited every year to play it, and it was so incredible to play Tennessee Waltz in their stadium, and I was so caught up in it, I wasn't even able to play it the whole way through. I was a wreck, and a good wreck, but it was such a sweet moment. So, and it's just forever. I got goosebumps thinking about it.
Man, that's really neat story, CJ. I told someone that I was going to at some point dedicate a show to the $1 Million Band. So I need you to help me find some $1 Million Band folks to call up and share some of their memories from the band standpoint. So you and I need to work on that offline sometime.
Absolutely.
I think that would be a really neat experience. So for our listening audience, viewing audience as well. All right, man. Hey, appreciate it, CJ.
Definitely a neat perspective. Absolutely. Roll Tide, y'all.
Roll Tide. Thanks. Hey, we got to get the break here, and I'm going to answer. Corey Lewis asked me a question. So, Martin, do you think that the staff is better under DeBoer or Nick Saban's last year's staff? I think this year's staff is better than last year's staff. I think this year's staff is going through some growing pains of putting in a brand new system, which nullifies all of the experience of the existing experienced players, especially on defense. And also you have young guys who are playing, which is leading to our chaotic up and down season. I just think that's part of it. And I'll talk more, Corey, about that on tomorrow when we have a little bit more time. We'll be back on the other side to put your finishing touches on this edition of the Martin Houston Show, as we'll bring in Scotty Hollins, Executive Director of Blueprint Ministries, for the Harvest Church Christian Moment of the Week.
Go inside the Alabama Crimson Tide with the Gary Harris Show.
Hey, everybody, it's Gary Harris. Wednesday morning at 9 a.m., a jam-packed Gary Harris Show. Matt Coulter on NASCAR. More controversy. We'll have it covered for you. Also, we are going to visit with Dan Harrelson from up in Knoxville to preview the Alabama-Tennessee game. And Larry the Music Man will stop by as well. All that and more. The Gary Harris Show, Wednesday morning at 9 a.m.
Catch the Gary Harris Show Monday through Friday, 9 to 11 a.m. on Tide 100.9 and Tide100.9.com.
Tide 100.9 Traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. We're looking at some active road work on Lurleen Wallace northbound between University and 5th Street. This is going to knock out the right lane, and right now traffic, tapping on the brakes as you pass by it, but nothing too severe as far as delays are concerned. And we got Joe Malisham. I am seeing a bit of a pile up here right at Highway 11, and that's also due to road work. With your Tuscaloosa traffic now, I'm Tammy Thomas.
This report is sponsored by Think It Up. Think It Up is an initiative to activate student-powered, teacher-led learning projects. Students and teachers, how can you spark great learning experiences in your classrooms today? Join at thinkitup.org.
The Venue, your new favorite Tuscaloosa hangout. Food, music, and more. Come and taste what's new at The Venue, whether it's Liza's Sweet Shop, whether it's the all-day breakfast and burgers from Ramajama's, or the quality food that you can get at Finish Pub. Great atmosphere, great time, great people, great environment. That's The Venue. You can find them online at thevenuetuscaloosa.com, located off of Watermelon Road, just past Sokol Park. That's The Venue, Tuscaloosa's new favorite hangout. Make it yours.
Touchdown! Hey guys, look at me. Now look at yourselves. I make the big plays and the big games. You don't. Yeah, you would have made All-State if Coach put you in. Keep telling that story, or you can actually play the game. The sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino puts you in the starting lineup. I'll still be making the plays. You'll be making the bets. And finally getting the sports glory you deserve. The Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. Play the game.
Visit the pharmacy at Midtown. That's the pharmacy at midtown.com. TJ and his team are looking for the opportunity to provide you with great services, including compound, home delivery, and a whole lot more. If you're looking for a great pharmacy that'll take care of all of your needs, including wellness classes, including health, and more, that's the pharmacy at Midtown. Call them at 205-579-9933. If you're looking for a great pharmacy, you need to try the pharmacy at Midtown. That's the pharmacy at Midtown, pharmacy at Midtown.com.
Hey, Jen, I just stopped in to say hello. Oh my gosh, look how busy it is in here. How did you get all these customers?
Yeah, this month has been a record breaker for us. For a long time, we had decent business coming in from word of mouth, but we weren't really growing. Lately, though, a lot of new folks have been finding us online, and that's made all the difference.
That's terrific. I wish I could figure out how to do that for my shop, but I have no idea where to start.
Just do what I did. It's not as hard as you think. Go to mylocalcustomers.com to see exactly how many searches there are here for businesses like yours.
Okay, then what?
If you see that there are a good number of clients searching in our area, you'll also get some suggestions for the best way to get their attention.
Do you think there are a lot of people searching for my business?
There's only one way to find out. Go to mylocalcustomers.com. It's quick, easy, and free.
Go to mylocalcustomers.com for a free local customer analysis that will show you how many Tuscaloosa customers are searching online for your type of business. It's quick, easy, and free. Visit mylocalcustomers.com. That's mylocalcustomers.com.
Interact with the Martin Houston Show by calling us at 205-342-9904 or tuning into the Martin Houston Show on Facebook.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier, and powered by Box iCare. It's now time for the Harvest Church Christian Moment of the Week. I'll toss it to Scotty Hollins, Executive Director of Blueprint Ministries, to continue to encourage us how to incorporate our faith into the boardroom, the classroom where our chosen field of play.
Sounds good. Thank you, Martin. We will continue with our series, Fundamentals That Build a Firm Foundation. And we're talking about, you can use this message for any area of life. We're talking specifically spiritual fundamentals that build a strong foundation in our life spiritually. So that's what we're talking about. But again, fundamentals build a firm foundation in any area of your life. So the fundamental we've been focusing on here lately
really the only one that we focused on so far is spending time in God's word, or just God's word in general. Okay, so we kind of looked at several messages on the importance of spending time in God's word, because that is a fundamental. It's a habit that we need to develop, and it's a habit that if we develop, it will develop us. So we've been just talking about the importance of spending time in God's word. Last week, we actually had a continuation of a message that we discussed from Genesis chapter 3, looking at Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, and looking at how Eve was tempted, and so we looked at 4 things that have to be true. Well, one, we got to understand that when we're tempted, it'll be the same way that Adam and Eve were tempted. And here's what Satan asked about God's word: did God really say? And so when you think about, we got to know God's word. We have to know it, or else when Satan, as he came to Eve, he says, "Did God really say that if you ate of any tree, you would die?" If we don't know God's word, we don't even know the answer to that, and we're easily deceived. And understand this: our opponent, Satan, is a deceiver, and his goal is to kill, steal, destroy. And so understand that that's his MO. He is a deceiver. So the first thing we got to understand as a review, for our review, we got to know what God's word says, because Satan's going to come and say, "Hey, did God really say?" The second thing that we have to understand is what God meant when he said it. Because what Satan does in that passage is he says, "Well, you know what? Oh, since you know what God said, let me tell you what he meant when he said it." And so he interpreted the passage for them, and for Eve. And that's how he deceived them. So we got to know, here's 4 things, the quick review. We got to know what God's word says. We got to know what he meant when he said it. 2 more. Y'all ready for the 2? We got to choose to believe it, and we got to choose to obey it. So today, I don't have much time, so I will kind of give you just a glimpse of what we'll look at next week. What we looked at in Genesis 3, we looked at Eve and Adam and how they believed what Satan said. They knew what God said, but they just fell victim to what he said, and they believed his lie, and they followed his lie, and they lived their life based on his lie. We're going to look at next week, we're going to look at Jesus and how he was tempted by Satan as well, in the same exact way, where Satan comes in and he's essentially saying, "Did God really say that?" But Jesus knew what God said. He knew what the Father said. He knew what he meant when he said it. He believed it, and he obeyed it, and the rest is history. So, Martin.
Yeah. Hey, what's those 4 things? Just say each one, and I'm gonna give our sports fans a word so that they'll understand what you're communicating. What's the first one?
Okay. You gotta know what his word says. So maybe know the play.
Playbook. You have to know the playbook, right? Boom.
That's
all
right.
Next,
and you gotta know what it means. You gotta know what it means.
All right. Now you have to understand the actual execution, not executing it, but understand what your role is and what the other teammates' role is. Next.
You gotta believe it. You have
to trust that everybody else is going to do their job, and believe that the head coach who has implemented that knows what's best at that time in that season.
You got to obey it.
Oh, you have to actually execute? You mean that knowing it?
Yeah, you got to run the play, coach. You got to run the play.
So you mean to tell me that I can have the right play call, I can have everything right, and if I run the play wrong, it doesn't work? Oh my goodness.
Don't work.
It doesn't work. And that's true whether it's football, baseball, basketball, or life. The Bible is our playbook, and God knows which plays to call. We just have to be able to believe, trust, and know it. Tell them where they can find you.
Absolutely. You can go to www.blueprinttuscaloosa.com. You can send me a message there, and it comes straight to my email.
All right. Hey, I'm Martin Houston. That's Scotty Hollins, Xavier Houston, Chase Brumfield. This is the Martin Houston Show, powered by Box Eye Care. It's Tennessee week, and we'll keep it rolling. Remember this: trust in the Lord always. Lean not your own understanding. Always acknowledge him, and he will direct your passion. Roll Tide out there, everybody. We'll catch you on tomorrow.
It's time to come together. It's up to you. What's your pleasure? Hot!
Thank you for listening to the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.